And we are back for another Taboo Talk. Lovely people. I love you. Cocoa Caramel Jose, and then Vanilla Gorilla Travis St. John here.
I just like how all of mine are caramel.
I mean, that's your color. Derek's chocolate. You're caramel, and I'm vanilla. It's Landon's pineapple.
Is it because he's Hawaiian?
Yes. That's our favorite thing to find out with our buddy Landon is like,
I always hug with him with Hawaiian.
And like, I just don't know if there's like racist shit towards Hawaiian people, but I like making it up for him. I'm like, you fucking pineapple eating son of a bitch. He's like, what? I'm like, you filthy fucking islander.
What else is there that you
I don't know. Like, you hula fucking hip shaking.
You fire throwing.
Oh, wizard? No. What was it? I knew this one guy that dated like this Hawaiian woman, and he was like, yeah, she's a hip swinger. And I was like, what the fuck did you just say? For hula.
Oh, okay.
No, hula.
Okay.
So we talked about this before we decided to film and wanted to make sure you were cool with it, but you're taking some steps towards figuring your shit out.
Yeah, I'm going to AA meetings.
It's okay. First, come on, man.
Oh, is that that's another podcast.
You're not going to AA.
No,
Jose doesn't have a drinking problem. It's an Alani Nu, not a Bud Light.
I'm always drinking.
If you grab that quick enough, it might actually look like a
It
Bud
might look
Light.
like something.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm talking to a therapist. Because I've been suffering from some depression.
So what spurred you making that decision to go see them?
It was something that I had been thinking about doing for a long time, but I feel like my inner ego was like, "Oh, I don't need that."
Motherfucker, what do we do this podcast for?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I think it's just like
we have the talks we have for a reason.
Right.
We started this for a reason.
I think it was just more of an internal.
I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. You know.
And yeah, so it was just something that like I couldn't figure out how to. I was in a little slump, and I couldn't figure out how to get out of it. So I would talk to people. I would talk to you, and I talked to TJ and Richard and Ashley, and then the difference between talking to someone as a friend or a therapist, it's a big difference because your friends are always going to tell you, and they're always going to show you support. They're always going to say, hey, you know, it's all right, man. You know, you're going to get through it. I'm here if you need something. Which is dude, it helps. Don't get me wrong. It definitely helps knowing that someone cares and someone's there. Yeah. But when you're talking to a therapist and a specialist, and especially if you find someone that understands you and knows how to communicate with you, because there are some therapists that you can talk to that are just going to be horrible.
Yeah.
Like, they're just going to tell you...
Mine was terrible after I attempted suicide.
And it sucks because a lot of people will push off that and not want to talk to someone from that one bad experience.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I the first person that I talked to was somebody that I connected with, and
that's great.
And it went great. But they will tell you what you need to hear rather than what you want to hear. Yeah. And that's helped me out a lot because she's actually been able to like tell me, hey, why don't you work on this next couple weeks, and next time we see, you know.
Well, and I agree with you, and I think that's the big difference between, and you and I talked about this yesterday, where you and I don't let each other allow ourselves to have each other's bullshit, if that makes sense. Like, you and I don't allow each other to be like, we don't kiss each other's ass all the time.
Yeah.
We tell each other when we're wrong.
Right.
You told me it before, and I've told you it before. And I make a habit to try to do that, because here's the thing. If you can't handle a friend or someone like close to you telling you you're wrong, check your ego. And if you feel you cannot tell someone you care about or love like that they're wrong in a situation because you're scared they won't be friends with you, don't be friends with them.
Yeah. Because
that's wrong. And it's, you know, I agree with you, and I think this is a good thing for you. I do. Because this is something I'm going to be, once my health insurance kicks in, I'm going to go do it too. Because the biggest difference is I don't have all the answers. Like, I've studied psychology, but I'm not a fucking PhD in psychology or shit, and I'm not a therapist. And
sometimes you're just speechless, man. Like, there's just things when people talk to you, you just don't know what. Yeah. And I'll tell you straight up, if you come to me, I'll tell you straight up, like, hey, I don't know what to say to you. Yeah. But I'm here. Yeah. You know, if you need to talk, I'm here. If you want to hang out, I'm here.
There's certain things you told me that literally I've just hugged you. Like, I didn't know what else to do other than that.
And it's that's the one thing that I was kind of not saying that I was looking for, but that I needed.
Yeah.
Was some kind of like I need a direction.
Like, exactly. That's okay. So that's the key thing is that while we can talk about this stuff and we can try to work things, and some people that works just like me, where it was just getting it out.
Yeah.
It's just getting it out and then having the cognitive thought of like, okay, where's my bullshit? Let me start working on this. This is where I make mistakes. This is where I fuck up. This is where I get attached to certain things that I shouldn't be. And these are the steps I need to take forward. And you can learn that self-growth. But at the same time, you're a very, and this is me truly meaning this, you're a very like, you figured out a lot of your shit. And you have developed extremely well and you work on yourself pretty frequently. But sometimes it gets to that point where you're like, I still feel, and this is like where I'm at, where I'm not in the place you are because your stuff is so much more recent than mine, but where it's like, okay, well, I feel like I haven't made a ton of progress in these certain areas that is why I want to go talk to somebody. But with you, yeah, it's to that point where you can sit there and work on yourself as much as you want, but it gets to a point that you're like, I don't know what else to do.
And that's why you have a professional. Where I was. And that's where I was because I had hit a slump like right before Mickey passed. I started working with you. I went through this whole transformation.
Yeah.
And I got down to, God, I don't think I had weighed that since goddamn 8th grade, 9th grade. So I was in a place physically and mentally where I was doing better. I was abusing alcohol. I was smoking cigarettes constantly. I was eating horribly just to eat. Like I wasn't hungry. It was just like I was bored. Or I didn't have anything else to do, and it was just replacing the cigarettes with food or the alcohol with food. So, I went to go work with you, and then I was like, I can't live this lifestyle and then try to sell someone a membership to a gym. So I completely changed. I dropped 80 pounds in 8 months. And then my brother passed away. Yeah. And I lost all of that. I lost the drive to do it. I lost the ability to do it. And it's something that I'm still struggling now, but it's talking to someone and having Ashley by my side, it has helped me a lot. And having you and everybody around, because I'm slowly regaining that ability.
Of course.
And I'm not where I want to be, but I know that the direction that I'm going, I'm eventually going to get there.
Yeah.
Because the first year was rough. And I think that goes to anybody that's ever lost someone.
Yeah.
Close, a sibling, a family member that was always around. The first year is hard.
Yeah.
Especially in the middle of the year, because then you have all the big holidays coming in.
Yeah.
Immediately after. So, the first thing that happened was my birthday was a week later. I didn't want to do anything.
Yeah.
And then, Thanksgiving, and then Christmas, and then, or my dad's birthday, Christmas, my mom's birthday, Mother's Day. And then it was just all these, me trying to suppress these feelings so that I can be there for my parents.
Yeah.
And then Ashley and I were together, and she was going through stuff. So I was trying to be a good support system. Your body can only handle so much.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Your mental state can only handle so much. So I got to the point where I was thinking about drinking again. And that's something that I did not want to do in the capacity that I was. Like last night we had mimosas.
Yeah.
A drink here and there.
You've got to, moderation.
Yeah. And responsibly. But I was thinking about drinking just to drink and kind of get back on that horse that I did not want to get on.
Yeah. Plus, if you got back on that horse, I would whoop that ass.
Yeah, and then I would go home and drink.
No. Then I'd be living here for a solid amount of time. Anytime you get up, I'll slap the shit out of you.
I slowly started going in, and I created, a routine and trying to get into a routine, and I started eating clean and eating a little bit better, and then I started going to the gym, and then, Corona hit.
Yeah.
And then that kind of just went back down. So I was getting to a point where I didn't have the drive to go to the gym. I didn't have the drive to do anything, to meal prep or even cook a decent meal or even, there was a time where I didn't really talk to anybody. So it was kind of like the first time. I went to go take a shower. I looked in the mirror and I was just like, what happened? What's going on? We need to do something. Because I wasn't sleeping, which was the problem the first time.
Yeah.
I didn't like the reflection in the mirror. I did not have energy, and then I would struggle to wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, I would snooze all the way until I had 15 minutes before I had to go to work. and then you're not productive. Like once you roll out of bed and then you rush to work, it's not the same as if you get ready, get your mental state ready, jump in the shower, get you some breakfast, get you some coffee, and then like head to work.
100%.
So I talked to Ashley and I was like, I need to do something.
Yeah.
Like I need to talk to someone. Like I feel like I'm getting to the point where I need that push. I kind of just need somebody to roll that ball down the hill, and then just eventually it's gonna get to the place that it needs to. Just because the last year with everything going on, and like us losing the baby, and then getting engaged. It was a whole 360, and I love that.
Because y'all had such crazy high ups and downs in like the past.
And this is something
years.
that like we tell each other every time.
Yeah.
When something goes wrong or something looks like it's going wrong, nothing can fucking beat us, dude.
No, hell no.
Like nothing's gonna be.
I just got chills. Like that's such a great mindset.
It's such a great mindset, but like it's true. We've been through so much the last year and a half.
Yeah.
That literally anything gets put on the plate, we're gonna fucking eat it and lick our fingers. Like there's just there's people that go through so much shit that eventually it just doesn't face them because they know how to prepare themselves.
Yeah.
When they go up to the plate. So I was just like, hey, I need to talk to someone, and then my work provided my insurance has this thing with Doctors on Demand. And I think at the beginning it was like they had 2 sessions. They have a 20-minute session, and then have an hour, a 55-minute session, whatever. And they used to be like $25 for the first one for the short sessions, and then like $50-$60 for the big one, which is not. It's not bad for having some kind of professional help.
Yeah.
These things usually cost $100 to
crazy man.
200, $250 an hour to talk. Yeah. And I think that's one reason that like a lot of people don't reach out or get help is because they see these dollar amounts in front of an hour. Like these guys, you're paying someone to listen to you for $250.
Yeah.
Shit, I'll do it. And I'll give you some fucking advice.
Yeah.
But like they see it from outside the box. They don't know you. They don't know where you're from. Like I hop on a FaceTime and I just talk to her.
Oh, is that how you're doing it?
Yeah, yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was in person or not.
And like we I pull up the laptop, I set it up on the dresser, and I just sit there. I pace because I get kind of anxious, so I just like walk from one side of the room to the other. But she gives me unbiased advice.
Yeah.
She talks to me like she doesn't know me, but everything she says is very helpful.
Yeah.
And she helps me break everything down when it comes to whatever had been bothering me or whatever weight I had been, holding on my shoulders for however long. So it's been very helpful.
Good. Well, and that's the key thing with therapy too, is not only do they give you really good direction, but they also like, here's the goals we're going to set, and here's the steps forward we are going to do. Yeah. Here's like, they help you. It's a game plan. It helps you with the game plan, and we can work it on ourselves as much as we want, but if there's not a game plan to things, that's where we can get stagnant or feel lost and that's why I love that you're doing it. Truly. Because I mean, I see you and we talk about this shit all the fucking time, that we have these conversations and stuff, and I see when you're struggling, and then you have your great days and you have some days that are a little bit lower, and it's at least from my viewpoint, seeing you especially from I was there during all of that your good days seem to have gotten a lot more frequent, which is great. But yeah, it's just figuring out to the point where you can get to like 90% good days. And like let's say, even if you feel like you don't need therapy or you're not in a slump, you're not gonna have great days every single day. Stuff's gonna bother you, and that's okay. That's okay. But it's getting to where there's way more good than there is bad. Yeah. And that's just the key thing of where that's happiness to me. Is just to where the great days outweigh the bad in a large capacity. Yeah. But yeah.
And I was getting to a point where I was having a lot of bad days. Yeah. And really what was kind of the trigger, I was like, okay, well, I'm getting married in like 8 months. I don't want to be depressed in my wedding day.
Yeah, of course.
Like I don't want to go on our honeymoon and be depressed the whole time, or the first 6 months of our marriage I'm an asshole because I'm depressed and she doesn't pick up the cues, or I'm just an asshole. Like, just how it is. And yeah, I was like, okay, I want to be the best person that I can be. That's why I started my routine, and I started talking to someone. And then I want to be the best husband for Ashley, because I don't want to go into this relationship like broken and expect her to fix me.
Dude, that's like, and that just shows those statements are why you will succeed here, is because you have that mindset. Too many people go into this and they go into therapy and they're like, fix me. And it's like, why do you want me fixed? Fucking because I don't want to feel like shit. It's like, you have legitimate reasons why. You have goals to set. You have a time frame you have set for yourself of where, like, I want to get this done. I want to get this done by this time. But it's also great that a lot of people go into therapy and they think after the first session they're going to be fixed. It's like, that's not how therapy works.
And that's not how it works, because they break you down.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say break you down as like military style where they break you down, but they start kind of seeing the levels.
Yeah.
And so my first therapy session, the first 15 minutes, I think she asked me basic questionnaire questions. Mm-hmm. Do you drink? How often do you drink? Do you do drugs? Is it recreational, like a everyday, all day type thing? And it elevates. Do your parents drink, or do they have any mental? And it's just started like that. So one of the very early on, one of her questions was like, "Why'd you book me? What made you want to speak to a therapist?"
That's a good question.
And I just started talking.
Mm-hmm.
And talking. She's like, and then I just started talking. She's like, wait, can we get through the questionnaire, and then I'll list, like, we'll go through everything. And then she just stared for a second. And, we finished the questionnaire, and then we started talking, and then towards the end, she said, "Hey, I just wanted to tell you that I really appreciate you opening up. I've not had," and I think I told you about this, I have not had a male open up like that to me on their first session. And then goes, plus a Hispanic male to open different. Up. I'm already an open book. You can pull me on the streets and ask me a question. I'm going to just tell you.
And for those of you who don't understand what he means by the Hispanic male thing, just go talk to somebody in the Hispanic culture and ask what the fuck he just meant, and you'll figure it out very quickly.
It's very
uncommon.
It's very uncommon, because it's just like a masculinity thing, and like a machismo.
Yeah.
We're big, strong men. We have no issues.
Yeah.
But a lot of that stuff, it's fueled by something
that's big in the Hispanic and the black culture,
and it's a big thing there. So after just talking on my first session, I felt better, just because I had gotten it off my chest.
Did you tell her we do this?
And no, I didn't. I haven't mentioned that yet. So shout out to Dr. Amanda.
She's gonna watch these videos and could be like, "I need to talk to that Travis guy. He's fucked up.
He's fucked up." Have him join on your next session. And then the second session, it was a catch up thing. So we talked about Colorado and why we went out there, and it's really nice, because you get to talk to someone that's going to give you and that's really what affected me the most, was unbiased conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you just open up to a stranger in the bus stop, like, you're just going to talk and not worry about anything, because what are the what's the odds that you're going to see him again?
You know what's funny is I actually had an instance like that today where I stopped at a QT to get gas, and there's this homeless guy out there that he was sitting with his service dog, and he was in this like wheelchair thing, and he said hi to me as I walked in, didn't ask for anything, and I was like, "What's up, man?" Go inside, grab my stuff, come out, and he goes, "Hey, do you have any change?" And I was like, "You know what?" I was like, "I don't. Do you want anything from inside?" He's like, "Yeah, I'd love a Big Red." And I don't. Okay, when I preface this is just a point of story. I wouldn't have even talked about this, because you know me. I don't like talking about the good things I do or anything like that, like, because I don't need merit from it. But I just want to bring up like exactly what you're saying.
Before you get into that, that's one of my biggest pet peeves in like social media. It's when like these influencers go up to YouTube, people and
Jesus Christ.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, here I'm gonna here's like $100, and I was like, what the but so the only reason I bring it up is because it's exactly what you were just talking about, where I don't know, I thought his dog was cute and he seemed like a nice guy, and I walked out and he was like, "Do you have change?" I was like, "No, do you want anything from inside?" He goes, "I would love a Big Red." I was like, "Good, okay, went inside, got him a Big Red, walked over to them. I was like, "Can I pet your dog?" He was like, "Yeah, sure. This is Max." I was like, "What's your name, man?" He's like, "I'm Reggie." I was like, "I'm Travis." And he's the first homeless guy I've ever like given money to or bought something for that asked me this question. He goes, "Why'd you buy me a Big Red?" And I was honest. I was like, "I've had a shit day, and I don't know. I felt like it would make me feel better talking to you a little bit and seeing if you need anything." He was like, "I appreciate you, man." I was like, "Appreciate you." He said, "God bless." I was like, "You have a great day, brother." And left, and that was it. And it did. It made me feel better, like having to talk with this guy, and like too many people treat homeless people like they're not people, and it's like they're fucking people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get that 100%.
And that was it's been so helpful, and the first session was rough because we dug in, through everything. So it was.
I mean, before the questionnaire was over, you had dug in.
Yeah, and that wasn't, it was 55 minutes of just talking.
Yeah.
And I like to talk, but I'm more of a jokester, so we'll roast.
It's hard not to crack jokes in those situations, right?
In situations like that, but when you talk about sad shit for 55 minutes, it hits you, you know, and
but there's also that sense
especially
of relief.
because I was oh yeah, that's what I mean. It was just this relief. Because like this year and heading up to the wedding, it's mentally has been rough on me.
Yeah.
Not because of the planning and stuff like that. Ashley's been really taking care of all that, and she's very right. And I mean, she's she'll always ask for my opinion, but if you're a smart man, you say whatever you want, honey. I don't care, whatever you want.
Which flowers do you want, Jose? The pink or the blue? I like the pink. Why really like the blue? You know what? Yeah, I like the blue too. That's a good choice.
It's a great
good choice, Jose.
But the thing that's been bugging me and weighing in, like the closer it gets, is Mickey's not going to be a part of my groomsmen.
Yeah, I know. I've thought about that.
He's not going to be part of my wedding at all. And that's really been what's
hard, yeah.
been really like weighing in on me. Is just like a very important step in my life and like a very important move in my life, and he won't be there.
Yeah.
So it's, I mean, we're working on stuff that we're gonna do for family members that couldn't be there, kind of like a
in memoriam.
And yeah, like kind of like
I love
something
that.
like that.
I love that.
But the fact that he's not gonna be there physically, it's rough.
Yeah.
And that's really what's been kind of hurting, because Ashley talks about her bridesmaids, and then her brother and her sister. And by sister, she means sister-in-law, but sister.
Yeah.
They were best friends in high school, and then she married her
Interesting.
brother. Cool.
I didn't know that.
And her, so like it's Ashley and Ashlyn.
Oh, God.
And they're best friends in high school.
Okay.
Yeah, so super cool people. Love the guys. But the more she talks about them, and this is not like a bad thing that she talks, I can't do that.
You know what's funny is, and I get that, is like with my
present tense, like
yeah, no, yeah,
so
it's like with my ex, when she had this huge ass family and like all these extended relatives and all this stuff she was talking to, and I literally sat there one time. She goes, "Why do you look upset?" I was like, "I'm just jealous. I'm jealous. Half my family's dead." Like, and I've had those same thoughts too, where I'm like, when I've thought about all the people I wouldn't have at like my wedding and at my fights and all this stuff, it's like it's hard, man. It's a tough thought to have.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
And the only thing I can say is past tense things, and I love talking about them. Don't get me wrong. I got stories for fucking days, like we fucked around a lot, and we did some fun shit. But you can't say, like, if your brother did something funny, I can't say, "Oh yeah, he did this last week." I can't. I can only bring up stories from when we were kids, and that weighs in. But I know what you feel, because a lot of my family's in Mexico.
Yeah.
I have I have Sebastian and the girls, but other than that,
you got your mom and your dad.
My mom and dad.
Yeah.
That's really all I have. I have some family, like in Irving, and stuff like that, or Houston, but all her family lives in the area.
Yeah.
So
It's hard to get jealous
during, and it's not like a hatred jealous.
It's not a hatred jealous. It's like a just damn.
Like it's just like damn. I wish I would had something like that.
Same. I get.
Because like I have a huge family.
Yeah.
Huge family.
I used to have a huge family.
And
sorry, I get to make jokes like that.
And
none of y'all do. He gets to, but I don't get to make jokes like that.
But like in the summer, you know, we would have pool parties at her uncle's or a barbecue at her parents with all the family or stuff like that. I don't do that. Like it's not that I don't. It's like I can't.
But what's beautiful about this?
But I'm super appreciative about it.
It's not.
Don't get me wrong.
Not only that, but it's about to be your family.
Yeah,
and you're gonna have that extended.
But the thing is, it's so funny though. They've been treating me like family since I showed up.
I know. Her
like
dad was
there's
like,
so
get
many,
her the fuck off my hands.
There's so many times that they call me and
they invite you to do shit, not her.
So there was this one time. I'm a big wrestling fan.
Yeah,
I grew up on it. I grew up on Lucha Libre when I lived in Mexico. So there was that
I did not know.
Yeah. So my grandpa, my mom's dad used to live down the street from this big coliseum, and that was a Lucha Libre coliseum.
Dope.
So think about like the AA, American Airlines Center. That's a multi-sport stadium.
Yeah.
Well, this Lucha Libre coliseum was just Lucha Libre. So this giant stadium that all they do is just wrestling all the time. But it's not just like regular, right? Like Lucha Libre is a whole different style. It's a whole ball game. There's the characters are like
they live that shit.
They live that shit. I mean, these people don't like if they live under a mask. They if they go in public, they wear the mask.
Yeah.
You know, there's people that careers are ended when they do
take the mask off.
The mask versus mask stuff. So I grew up on it, and it's always been something that it's always been part of my life. I enjoy watching it now. Ashley enjoys watching it. My cousins, we used to wrestle on a trampoline.
Oh hell yeah!
I dropped. This is a funny story. I don't think my parents know about this. This was funny. We used to use my parents' bed to wrestle because it was like a king size.
Yeah, yeah.
Ours were individual, little twin or whatever. We used to use their beds to wrestle. One time I drop kicked my brother that he jumped off the bed and went and almost went through the window. But he threw his arms up, so half his body was outside. We cracked the window. It was a whole thing.
Oh my god.
Ashley was this was like 2 years no last year. She was house sitting and I was with her. She was just getting out of the shower. I went in because her dad was calling my phone, and usually he can never. Yeah, I dropped it during the shower. I said, "Hey, I think your dad's trying to call you," because typically he never called me. He would text me, "Hey, is Ashley with you? Yeah, can you ask her to pick up the phone?" So I answered my phone, thinking that her phone was dead. So I was like, "She's probably trying to contact you." I just answer and I put it on speaker, and Ashley answers, and he goes, "Where's Jose?" And she goes, "He's in the room." He's like, "Can you hand him the phone?" And she's like, "Okay, do you not want to talk to me?" He goes, "No." And then her dad goes, "What are you doing January 26th? I'm like, "Gosh, I don't know.
I don't plan shit out that far in advance."
I don't think I plan anything. I'm pretty sure I'm free. He goes, "Do you want to go to WrestleMania or Royal Rumble?" I'm like, "Hell yeah!"
I was texting you that night.
And I ended up going to Royal Rumble with her dad, her brother, and her. Yeah, it was such a cool thing. But there's times where, they'll crack jokes where it's like, "Hey, if you ever leave him, he's still coming to like the family events and stuff." And she always makes jokes about how her family likes me more than her. Yeah, I don't blame them, but whatever. Yeah. But I'm so appreciative about their family. Like their family's so cool. Whenever we lost the baby, her dad and her brother came up to me and was like, "Hey, if you can talk, like what's going on, dude? Like you're all right." And it's I love her family, and that's always been a big thing for me. So it's having to combine these two worlds is really cool. And now I'm coaching with both of them, so I see them on a weekly basis rather than every other week when there was a barbecue or someone's birthday or whatever. So coaching baseball was something that I wanted to do with my brother. Yeah. Get some little booger pickers and go get some kids and kind of just do that. I mean, I like baseball, but I didn't play it like my brother did.
Yeah.
and I knew that his dad, her dad, and her brother coached, and I knew that her brother played. So last season, I went to a couple of their games. I didn't see a lot of dads helping out, so one day I mentioned, like, hey man, if y'all need help next year, like, I'll carry your equipment. And that's how I always start things. Like when I met Tashawn Jackson, he's actually going to be our photographer for the wedding. I met him at a networking event. I'm just going to do this quick story. I wanted an internship with this guy because I had seen his work and I thought he was phenomenal. I didn't think he was phenomenal. He still is. And I told him, I was like, hey man, if you ever need some help, photographing, I'll carry your equipment. He's like, okay. And that's how I got the internship with him, and I worked with him for about 2 years. But I told him, I was like, hey man, if you need some help, I'll carry some equipment. He's like, okay. And I had gotten my PT certification, and I was wanting to work with kids. Corona hit and kind of derailed my whole plan, but whatever. And then I mentioned it again, and he was talking about baseball or something. I was like, hey man, if you need a strength and conditioning coach, just let me know.
Yeah.
I just threw it out there. I was like, it's what like throwing a little bait or whatever. Yeah. And then one time he texts me and he goes, hey man, are you serious about it? Like, do you want to come over or do you want to come with and be part of the team? I was like, yeah. So I left it alone, never mentioned it or anything. And then he starts posting flyers on his Facebook page about, signing up kids for this select team. And on the flyer, it talks about the price and what they get with it, the practices and all this stuff. And then in the middle of that flyer, it says, we have a strength and conditioning coach on staff that will be working with the athletes and stuff. So, we practice on Saturdays and have a bunch of little 10-year-olds. And it's a cool thing because...
and if you don't know this about Jose, he's a very nice guy. And if he throws out something like that, typically if you say yes, he'll wind up doing it. The problem is, Jose will tell my father, hey, Mr. John, if you ever need someone to mow your lawn, you can just call me. And one day he's going to say yes, and you're going to be like, oh, shit.
The funny part is, every time I'm over at your house, I crack jokes about being Mexican because they, fight it, but they want to laugh. And that's the funniest part. Because I think one time I went over there and I said, I can't remember.
About cleaning the pool.
About cleaning the pool. I was like, I'm only here to clean the pool. I'm trying to figure out what the bleach and all this stuff is. Like, I don't know. But I'm sure one of these days they're gonna just, hey man,
he's gonna be like, hey man, here.
Can you do this? But I'm not gonna be able to do it with my brother.
Yeah.
But the relationship that I'm building with Jared, her brother, it's a brotherly relationship. So it's really cool that I get to do that with them.
Well, and the thing you have to remember too, I'm sure Amanda would reciprocate this, is you can't think of it in that negative aspect of I'm not getting to do this with Miguel. It's this is what he would want you to do.
Yeah, and every time I go to practice or I think about that. This is something that
because he's doing it with you.
Yeah. And that's one thing that I talked to my therapist this last session. That the reason that I'm doing it's for him.
Yeah.
That every time I go to practice, I know he's there and probably making fun of me because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I didn't play baseball or whatever, but I do my research, I do my due diligence, and I want to be the best that I can be in any aspect. So it's been a very interesting ride, and hopefully I can continue to do it, even though that I am progressing in those aspects. But my game plan was I can't be for someone, and I can't be the best husband if I can't be the best me.
Yeah, I agree.
And if I'm always gonna be cranky, and it takes a lot for me to get pissed off.
Oh yeah, I know.
So it's
I've seen it.
It's scary. Ashley, and it's so funny because Ashley and you,
I've seen it.
There's only been a handful of people that have seen me pissed. I mean, fucking pissed.
Oh yeah.
Fucking pissed.
Yeah.
Ashley's never seen it. So when she starts seeing me kind of getting a little irritated, she's like, I'm like, no. And that's the thing, I'm even when I'm irritated, I'm not an asshole. It's just I'll shut down. When I'm pissed, I start hitting shit.
I just bring up when I was pissed. It was so anti him and so legitimate. When you see someone that is so chill and relaxed all the time, and you see them pissed for the first time, it's so shocking. but it was so like real too.
I mean,
you came up to me and I was almost like, "Oh yes, sir, I understand." Like I almost said,
he could knock me the fuck out, but he was just like, "Oh shit."
I was like, "Oh yes, sir, I completely understand why you're upset."
Like I know how to properly take out my frustration, so it's not like I'm gonna start beating people.
Yeah,
but I think
you came up hot.
I think
you got like 2 inches from my nose too, and I was like, "I didn't do this to you."
I don't even know why. I remember I said why. Something. I remember why too, yeah. But I don't remember what I said to you. But all I remember is that I walked away, and then I went to a machine and he just started fucking pressing, just putting as much weight as I can.
Well, that's the dude. And it's not lit.
And you came up and probably stood 10 feet. Was like, "What's going on, man?" Like, what's going on? And then the time that I got mad at Tidal, I threw with Derek and Fuckface. I wrapped my hands, I threw my gloves, and I just started hitting the bag.
Yeah,
and just started hitting it. So,
but that's the healthy thing to do.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I learned to properly let go of that frustration. But it takes a lot to get me there.
Oh yeah.
So it's always funny whenever Ashley calls me out, she's like, "You looked mad." I'm like, "Oh, you would know."
Have you ever seen me legitimately mad? I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think you've
not pissed. You like with the Tidal situation, you saw me like, okay, I'm gonna remember that shit.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you've ever seen me like pissed.
No.
It's scary.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen you.
I get loud.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I think you and Derek. Yeah, you and Derek are probably the only people that have ever seen me get to that level.
Yeah.
And it was because of some work bullshit.
Well, it was because of outside forces outside your control. That was just people being shitty.
Not just that. It was disrespect.
It was justifiable. Your pissed off was justifiable.
Yeah.
It's like there's people who get pissed and lose their mind in traffic, and then there's your two situations where justifiable.
Well, one of those two situations, it's, hey, this is my worth. Yeah. This is what I expect. And then they're like, hey, this is the counter offer. I'm going to give you a third of what you asked. Yeah. And I was like, fuck you. Yeah. Fuck you. And I looked at him and I said, nope, I'm out. Yeah. I said, and that's literally, I think I looked at Scott in the face and I said, well, go ahead and put my 2 weeks in. Yeah. I'd had no backup plan. I had no other job. Like, I was just like, nah, fuck that. You ain't going to disrespect me like that. Yeah, 100%. I'm driving an hour out here for $3 above minimum wage. Like, no. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna fucking get pissed just thinking about that shit. But
I just want to preface when you came up to me that too. You got 2 inches from my nose. I was like, "You're not gonna believe this fucking bullshit." I swear to fucking God.
I think that sounds about right. What I said. And it took a lot for me to just like walk out.
Yeah, and I'm sure my reaction was, "What?
What's happening? Right. What the fuck? Just happened?" Yeah, but you know, I that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to put myself in a situation where I was going to be the best person for Ashley, because it's not just about me anymore. Yeah, and that's that was it was an easy transition
for some kiddos.
Yeah, so it was an easy transition for me to make after being single for so long. Yeah, that it was just like me. But as soon as Ashley and I got together, and I knew that she was the one. Mm-hmm. Jokes on her. I knew she was the one prior to that. She just played too much, girl. It was very easy for me to, and I still struggle in some aspects of that, but it was very easy for me to do things for other people. Yeah. And I don't mean like other people by not putting myself first, but putting myself first for her.
And that's where you and I are a lot alike, in the same way that it's like we can take steps towards ourselves, but when there's other people around us that we want to be better for, and that goes for anything. That goes where I want to be better for fucking you and like Derek and Landon and shit like that too. It's we thrive more and we'll work more in those situations rather than just for ourselves, and that's not a bad thing. It's a thing that it's definitely something to work on to be absolutely the absolute best for yourself. But having those outside influences is not a bad thing to if it's just making you better and making you want to be better. That's a great thing. Yeah. That shows you she's the one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And she had done it for me, you know, prior to it. But you know, when it starts getting closer and closer to the wedding date, I was just like, okay, I need to do something.
Yeah.
And then kind of everything else was just kind of stacking on my shoulders. And I that first session, I sat down and I told the therapist everything, and she was just shaking her head and kind of just, dude, you've been through a shit ton the last year and a half. And I think one of her first things she said was like, Jose, sounds like you have the weight of the world on your shoulders. You know, you're trying to be the best husband, plus trying to be the best son, and trying to be there for both of your parents, and then you know, being there for friends, and trying to stay on a consistent at work and trying to do a good job there. So I finally just gave in, and then I wasn't saying like just gave in and kind of gave up and was like, I'm just gonna talk to him, but it's a hard thing to do. Yeah. Like, just... And it was on my phone, you know? Like, I had to pull up my phone and I had to scroll a couple times and read a couple bios. Reading the bios was hard. Pressing the button was hard, you know? And pressing the confirm was probably one of the hardest things. Because I think I sat there, you know, I pulled out my phone and it's a single button. It's not a swipe thing. It's not a up and down. It was just confirm appointment. Yeah. And I sat there with my finger on it, and I think my phone went to sleep like 2 or 3 times before I actually said, okay... Bop, and I threw my phone down.
So, and not to toot our own horns, I feel like what we do here with Taboo Talk helps with situations like that, where it makes you more willing to do that. Because, I mean, we're airing our shit out in front of hundreds of people. Yeah. And that's like...
And people that... I mean, there's people that know you but don't know me, or know me
vice versa.
So it was
and we've had nothing but positive response from it. It makes it easier.
And we also have people that know both of us from different paths, because they either went to high school with you and were friends with me at some point, and
vice versa.
Or vice versa. So it's been very helpful, like, because I mean, we've been talking about doing the podcast for 3 years.
3 years, and we finally have been.
And then we finally decided to.
It's been so. I know it's been so helpful for me.
Yeah.
Like.
And it's been very helpful on trying to talk to people and trying to open up, because the whole point of doing these podcasts was just kind of talk to each other, but also show people that
it's okay to talk about it.
It's okay to talk about it, because I feel like there's a lot of people that don't.
It's not taboo. It's not taboo. It's okay to talk about this shit. Just because we're guys and we're talking about how we feel about shit, it's like...
Yeah. Like, this dude was just licking his lips over some...
Okay, bro.
So he did it again just thinking about
it. Fuck off. But yeah, it's... I mean, the whole point of this show was to... We had our original talk where I wanted to get my shit out there, and I was like... I still to this day don't know exactly why I wanted to film that and put that out there, but I wanted for you and everybody else to understand what I went through and everything. And then once we did, I was like, the positive responses are people being like, I've been there and it's so nice to see someone else talking about it. It's like, fuck, let's just keep doing it and show, like, on all the other things. Like, I'll just be blunt. We did the breakup one. My ex got pissed about it, called me and was not happy about it. But at the same time, it's like, yo, I mean, we said we were going to talk about everything, and we're going to talk about everything.
We're going to talk about everything.
But yeah, man, it's great. I think what you're doing is fantastic. I know you're going to grow from it immensely, and you're that type of person that when you set your mind to something, you fucking do it, and you do it quickly. So I know, like, well before the wedding, you're going to be on such a drastically better path, and will develop easily, quickly, and with little to no restraint. You know I got you, too. So on anything that's...
I know.
Whatever path she sets for you, you know, I'll help you out in any way, too.
Absolutely.
As will Richard and TJ. There may be some implications of homosexual activity during those helpings, but, I mean...
I'm comfortable with what I like. If you turn off the light, it feels the same.
Oh, shit. On that note... this was Taboo Talk. We love Jose. We love that he's wanting to progress and doing something like this. And we will see you guys next time.